Now, civilians being killed or disappearing at the hands of security forces and thousands forced to flee their villages. It is the situation in modern Mozambique. When the civil war ended back in 1992, the main rival guerrilla forces of FRELIMO and RENAMO became political parties. But recently, the peace has fallen apart again. In 2014, FRELIMO won elections, but RENAMO's leader called them rigged and fled into hiding in the mountains. Well, there, RENAMO has many followers, leading to a climate of violence and fear. And France 24's Caroline Dumais and Aisha Ismail have this report.
Sofala province in the heart of Mozambique, where an invisible and silent civil war continues. But nobody dares to bury the victims. The national road resembles a killing field. We've counted 22 bodies. And a bit further under the bridge, there are more human remains, slightly less decomposed. The identity of the bodies remain unknown. Nobody knows or wants to say. There are hardly any cars around the area bordering the entrances of Gorongosa National Park. This reserve was notoriously known as the stronghold of RENAMO, an old liberation movement in Mozambique. The war ended more than 20 years ago, but last October, historical leader Afonso Dhlakama went back to the bush in these mountains to protest against electoral fraud. 70 kilometers away, Gorongosa city is buzzing. Thousands of villagers fled here to avoid the fighting between RENAMO and the government. The population is faithful to the opposition and has denounced the increase in illegal arrests and kidnappings. Some people have accepted to speak to us about the unexplained disappearances.
There was this man in his 60s, a neighbour of ours. They came to fetch him with a car. He called his family once. He told them that he had a big car accident and that he was in hospital. We went with the family to the hospital he was mentioning, but when we arrived, nobody knew him. He never called back.
Well, I've lost my best friend. He was 21. His name was Hertu. He was a motor taxi driver. He was arrested by soldiers at a roadblock. It was 9 p.m. and they took him somewhere, and I never saw him again.
Between the testimonies of disappearances and dead bodies found in bushes, Maputo's government has been forced to react. They eventually sent a parliamentary commission to investigate. They came to meet the governor. Dominated by the ruling party FRELIMO, the commission is not neutral. Its members reminded the media that the region was a stronghold of a dangerous guerrilla movement. But no real investigation was carried out on the bodies found more than a month before. The police chief commander said there are no forensic doctors in his city to do the job. The head of the commission refused to answer any of our questions.
Is there going to be an international investigation?
I'm working right now. Contact the Minister of Information. Thank you.
I heard there is no forensic doctor. Are you going to call one from Beira? Are you going to call one from Maputo?
If the local press did not attract attention to this crisis, the president would have shut the door on this matter a long time ago. But far from Sofala province in the capital Maputo, the opposition has no intention of backing down. RENAMO is represented in the National Assembly as a political party since the end of the Civil War, but they have recently revived old revolutionary songs. Yvonne Suarez is the head of a parliamentary group of 90 members of parliament out of 250. She insists negotiations with government are on while the troops are in the bush. What RENAMO wants is clear: to govern all the provinces they won during the last election. They also want the EU or South Africa to mediate in the conflict.
Quite honestly, on the ground, this is a proper war, even if nobody has ever declared it. We don't understand why the government does not want an international mediation. This is the only way to go so that we can trust them. Otherwise, these negotiations are not serious. We need a mediation to ensure everybody respects their commitments.
If the government accepts a mediation process, it will be forced to admit that a few of its provinces are paralyzed by a civil war they cannot end. In the meantime, Afonso Dhlakama refuses to leave his secret hideout until his security is guaranteed.